You're listening to a portion of our conversation from episode 275, featuring the Jurassic Wire with myself, Brad Jost, and co-host Aaron Beyer. If you want to hear the full conversation, download the episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your shows. Today we discuss the behind-the-scenes image from Jurassic World Dominion that was shared by Empire. We discussed that image and the content of the article as well, which focused on some of Colin Trevorrow's thoughts and struggles making this film during the COVID-19 pandemic. As always, be sure to let us know what you think, and of course, we hope you enjoy it. And I threw a topic on you, actually, why don't we bring that up first? So, did you get a chance to look at that Jurassic World Dominion photo from Empire magazine? They actually just it was just like a few weeks ago. Empire, we've talked about it time and time again here on the Jurassic Wire, is these articles where they talk about how the production has gone for Jurassic World Dominion. They talked a lot about the safety protocols in articles previously, and then this time it was more so about like how did they feel doing this, how close did they come to stopping, and then of course they showcased an image featuring Chris Pratt and Omar Sy as Barry. So that was pretty cool to see. Did you get a chance to look at that?
I did see this. This is actually I actually saw this without you telling me I need to see this, which is kind of rare.
Aaron, you need to look at these things before the show.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. I get my Jurassic news from the Jurassic Park podcast. So this is a problem when it's like, oh, it's my week to be on, and then I don't have no idea what's going on because you haven't told me yet what's going on. Dude, I love this, man. Like,
yeah,
this should have been the dynamic in movie 2.
Okay. Yeah.
These two had such a. I thought these two had such a real, like, on screen, like it felt like a real relationship. It didn't feel like they were acting, and maybe they're friends. Like, maybe they just gelled really well offset. I mean, who knows? Maybe they hate each other's guts. I don't know, but it felt good, and it felt like really natural, and it felt like when, if they're equal partners, or if Barry's like, I'm assuming Chris Pratt is the number one in this program, correct? Like, because he's the alpha, right? Is that how this works? And the Raptors respect him, so like I would assume Chris Pratt's number one, and the movie's about him, so like, well, he's a main character. But like, it felt like he had, like, they had each other's backs, like in the movie, like one wasn't like going behind the other and like saying, oh, well, maybe we can get the Raptors to like do it. Barry was very much like, no, like it's not going to happen because my guy here says and has proven that it's not going to work, or whatever.
It is interesting if you think about like why was the character there in the first place? Like, because he didn't have a ton to do in Jurassic World, right? He just kind of essentially followed Owen around. But was there any catalyst in there that kind of changed anything? I don't know, but when you're discussing it, like kind of like what you're saying is like, well, we have an alpha, we have somebody else that backs him up. It's a tag team kind of thing. Like I understand that mentality, but like from the filmmaking perspective of like, why is the character there? I'm kind of questioning that in this moment when I never have before.
I don't think there's anything wrong with setting up a character to bring back bigger and better than ever. I mean, look at
please
look at Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, two side characters from the Captain America franchise. I'm more excited for those two characters than I've ever been. And totally. I was totally like, Falcon was great in his very first movie. I thought Bucky was great in Winter Soldier on. I didn't really love him so much in First Avenger, but like I thought those two characters were great in the MCU leading up to the show, and then the show is just like its own thing. So like kind of bummed that Barry wasn't back for the second movie, just like I was bummed Lowry wasn't back for the second movie. Barry,
yeah,
right? That's the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this random guy. No, but like, dude, this is just freaking awesome. I love it, and they're on this boat water tunnel set, which we've never seen in a Jurassic movie before. So like, cool.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like obviously there's no water in this set, but I think it's safe to assume that there is some sort of like either there's something pushing this or just a crew of people just pushing this boat, simulating that it's kind of going to be in water or something. I don't think it's a stationary boat that they're just hanging out on. So I do think that this will be a cool like tunnel system. Probably around where they filmed in Malta. Not the entire cast, but I know like there's a lot of stuff filmed in Malta, so this is probably representing something like that.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. This looks cool. This looks really cool.
There's not too much to go off of here. It's just you just got Barry and Owen just chilling. You got some new costumes you can see there. Nothing too drastic for either of them changed.
Like,
they kind of look similar to what they've always looked like. So
depending on the lighting, man, like this could be scary. There's no like when you're in these tunnels, there's nowhere to go but one. Like it's not like there's an alcove you can go hide in. There's not furniture that you can hide behind. It's if you're being hunted in basically, I'm assuming like a sewer system or something, right? Like kind of. Is that what these are? Are these like related to sewage?
I have no idea. Some sort of, I don't know terms, aqueduct or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something
there's
like
nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide for sure.
What I do like about this is that the boat, following like traditional Jurassic stuff, they named this boat after something else, and this is called Fair Spanish Lady, which is a nice nod to Jaws. Obviously, Steven Spielberg directed.
There you go.
Quint in that movie discussed, I think it's like a song or something that he sings, if I remember correctly. So it's a nice nod to that film, but also Steven. So I'm not sure like where they're going with this. Is it just a Steven thing, or is it like, hey, the mosasaur is probably around here somewhere, or something else? I don't know.
You thinking we're gonna get the mosasaur?
I mean, yeah, we've kind of talked about that. I don't know if me and you, I'm sure we have, but like I've always wondered if like the mosasaur will be, kind of like it did last movie, but even less, minimally featured, and then setting it up for like its own thing, maybe down the road or something. But I don't know. I feel like we have to get the mosasaur, but
I feel like the mosasaur is kind of Trevorrow's like stamp on this franchise, right? Like.
Yeah,
I feel like he's the one that brought in aquatic dinosaurs or reptiles or whatever the mosasaur is. I don't know. It's like everyone's always wanted it. Everyone's always wanted to see it live action, and he was the one who was finally like, okay, it's a one trick pony, but we'll do it, and it's gonna be cool every time it does its one trick,
Yeah.
Which. Oh, I don't want to talk about. All right, never mind. That's a spoiler. I don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about it later. But
I think I know that.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, this gets me excited. This gets me really excited.
It does, yeah.
When does this movie come out, man?
It's like June 10th, I think, 2022 at this point. So, but there was some fun stuff in this article. You can read through it on Empire's website, but it says that on the very last day that they were shooting, I didn't find out that they were officially shutting down until about 3 hours before we wrapped. So we were shooting in this old industrial barn. Alexandra, Derbyshire, and Pat Crowley and I had a phone call with Universal, and all of us agreed it was the right thing to do. But I still had to finish. I still had a shoot day to finish, which is interesting. I guess they still had stuff to do, but they didn't want to tell anybody. So it says here, whispers had begun, but I didn't want to compromise that moment in the movie by having it be fraught in any way. So we captured it, and then we went home for 3 months. And that day is in the movie. We didn't go back and reshoot it. So I think that's interesting. I know that Jurassic fans now are going to watch this scene and know like, okay, here's the old industrial barn. So this moment is when he's like in head, he's like, oh my God, we're going to shut down. We have to do this. This is,
Right.
I just had a phone call and now we're shutting this down and nobody else knows that we're shutting this down except for me behind the camera. So like, there's a little context to that scene now, a little extra context, I guess, that necessarily wouldn't have been there before, but fun to think about nonetheless when we actually go to see the film. And then he also goes on to say, the scariest moment was in late October when we had just a couple of weeks left and the cases were rising exponentially. Because we had the crew that we did and the actors were always on set, we were able to accelerate what we were doing. But we definitely had a fear that we might have a movie that was 9/10 finished and remained that way. That's a big deal, right? Like they might not have finished this movie ever.
So I went through Twitter today and I was like scrolling through past like tweets, and for me, like I don't tweet very much, so like it was really easy to kind of go back, reflect where we were in like March of 2020. Like I was tweeting about wearing a mask because I didn't want to kill somebody, and like we were like we still kind of do like cursorily wipe down our groceries, but like we were legit like bleaching groceries in March of 2020. So
it's a different world.
It was a completely different world. US seems to be coming out of it. Canada is very slowly. We're still on stay-at-home orders, but it's almost like we're at stay-at-home orders, but it's been a year and a half. Like, who's enforcing that at this point? I got kids playing in the park across the street. The fear of shooting that movie, and like you said, 9/10, 90% done, and they weren't gonna finish. Like that was I could imagine that being a very scary thought. Like as a worker, I remember thinking, oh no, if people can't go to the theaters, like I was like, we'll be the first industry to shut down inside the Hollywood system, like the 3D conversion, because like why are you going to make a 3D movie if theaters aren't open? And like we've been very blessed to just have work. Like the studios were like, the executive mentality was all, this is going to blow over. Let's be prepared for the movies when they come back, and I've been going ever since. But like, yeah, I remember those days in March, man. It was super scary.
Yeah. I wonder, how serious his comment is about, a film being 9/10 finished and remain that way. Like, is there any chance Universal would have really just thrown in a towel? Obviously at that point, I guess in late October, you don't really know what the world's going to turn out like. So, I guess that could be, a legit comment or, a lot of fear in there. I have no idea, but just the fact that like they had to worry about that so much and that, Dominion potentially couldn't have come out. That's crazy. So luckily we're in a place where things are okay-ish and, we're still trying to work our way back. But,
I'm catching up on shows that like, so I'm catching up on Walking Dead, and we had talked previously about the smaller episodes where it focused on like two characters. You're right. You can tell that it's a COVID produced episode. My wife and I are watching Young Rock, and you can tell that the whole entire show, at least when it comes to anything with Dwayne Johnson, is like it's in a COVID world. It's like there's literally shots where you can tell that they're not talking to anybody because they do the reverse shot. Yeah. And like you can tell, like, I mean, The Rock is a good actor, but he's not like he's not a like what is the word I'm looking for? Like a thespian or anything. So like when he's not reacting to someone, it's super obvious he's not reacting to somebody. So I mean, I don't know, man. Like WandaVision, they said that the ending was very different because they had COVID things to deal with, and it was like, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, like as much as I enjoyed that show, there was definitely some episodes where it was like, oh, this is because of COVID. This has to be this way, Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, for this period of history, we're going to be thinking that for pretty much everything that's been filmed or out there at all. So I don't know. Hopefully we don't have to think about it too much by the time next summer rolls around. But
hopefully.
But yeah, interesting little article. There wasn't really much. That was about it, and at least a nice picture, so that's good. Makes me excited. No idea what's coming from this sequence, but makes me pretty pumped about it. So let's go in and move on to our next topic.